All right, time to get into our hot topic this week.
Let's do it.
We are calling our hot topic this week Resume Workshop number 2. This is our second time conducting a resume workshop. It's been too long, and I'm really happy that we are here. So here's how it works. You send us your resume, and then we anonymize your resume, so we're not doxing you on the air. We're not giving away who you are, where
Correct.
you live, and we're also not giving away where you worked. We take your resume and we anonymize your personal information, your company information, but we leave the whole rest of your resume as is, and we don't look at it ahead of time. We look at it right now, live on air. This is us as two hiring managers at different levels and different roles of hiring, but we are two hiring managers looking at your resume, and we're talking about what we like and dislike about your resume. And, would we give you a call if we saw your resume? So we're going to share the resume on screen for those who are watching the video. For the audio, we'll talk through it. Our
And so for the viewers, I've never seen this. So this will be my live reaction to this resume.
Yes, and good point. Garrett has never seen this. I have seen it just to clean it, to make sure that we aren't sharing too much personal information. So You at home on the video, you're able to see pieces of it. I'll scroll through it as we talk about it. I'm going to throw a lot of it to Garrett for initial takes. I'll give it my take as well. Our person today that we are reviewing, their name is Teffin Styler. Thank you. We are reviewing the resume of one Teffin Styler. We don't really need to care about where they live. This is not a real address, but we have the resume at the top here. Our thoughts are, as hiring managers, what do we know about this person? I'll do a quick scroll for those of you who are looking at it on the screen because you can't see the full resume, just so you can get a quick view of the resume while we introduce it. Garrett, I'm going to cue something up for you just so you know a little bit about who this candidate is.
Okay.
So this is a candidate who has a background in software engineering. They've been a web developer, software developer for much of their career, maybe 20 years or so. And they're moving more into the application security space, product security space.
Yep.
And they are looking for roles in AppSec, ProdSec, something along those lines with a background in software development. So just, something for us to keep in mind. So Garrett, I'm going to pass it to you. Where do you want to talk about first? What jumps out to you here to talk about?
So I'm going to go all the way down to relevant experience, and I'll stop there. I like the brief summary. This is something that I've harped on in the past. Do not give us a soliloquy of everything about you. Like, give me a short blurb. Security focused software engineer. Okay, so that right off the bat is great. Folks that work in security, we deal with engineering all the time. Some of us have a love-hate relationship with engineering. I prefer to have a love-love relationship with engineering, but knowing that someone is security focused in their engineering role, and even better to prove that, to show some security initiatives that you've been a part of, whether that's pen testing, mitigation, or whatever. That's great. So with extensive experience developing secure web apps, I definitely want to see proof of those.
I want to make sure I'm bringing the right part of the screen here. Which part is this that we're looking at?
This is the summary. This is right at the top.
Right at the summary. Thanks. Good. I just wanted to put that on the screen. Thanks. Go on.
Yep. So extensive experience developing secure web applications. So again, like I've said in the last time, if you're going to call out that you've done something cool, please show me so I can check it out. Implementing the OWASP framework. That's great that you know about the OWASP framework. Secure SDLC, great, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so code reviews, application security best practices, skilled in collaborating with cross-functional teams to integrate security into application designs and workflows. So that is a page right out of my book. Get everyone else outside of security involved in the security process. So I like that this person has said, I'm skilled. I put some focus in my past on stoking up collaboration. That's actually huge. And that makes you very attractive if I'm hiring you for a product security team.
I'm gonna second what you just said, Garrett, kind of on all those things. You're talking about the OWASP framework, okay? Music to my ears, securing web applications. I love that.
Absolutely.
The secure development lifecycle, SDLC. I'm gonna pause here for 1 second. Did that give you any question? I am so common by seeing SDLC stand for software development lifecycle, and oftentimes say the secure SDLC, but not the secure DLC. I don't know. Does that? I'm weird because like things jump out at me and I just want to question it. Did that give you any pause at all?
No, I mean, I see SDLC and I see software development lifecycle. If you say secure development lifecycle, okay, I know what you're talking
Okay.
about, but that is some kind of, maybe that's an evolution of the parlance. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but
I know that
yeah,
these all of our acronyms they morph to.
yep.
So I think this is good. You're talking about code reviews, AppSec best practices, and I do like that thing you pointed out in that last sentence there, collaborating with cross teams. Because when people ask me questions around AppSec and product security, it's one of the things I talk about. If your AppSec people are working in a vacuum or your product security people are working in a vacuum and they're not partnering with the software engineering teams, it's not going to win.
Right.
You need your product security and AppSec people to work with your software developers and vice versa. And likely you're going to build processes together. You're going to pick tools together. So I love that.
Well, Sean and I have been part of an organization where it was kind of flipped on its head, where the AppSec team was part of the engineering team and wasn't as closely aligned with the security team. So that kind of works both
Hmm.
ways. You kind of need to have that, influx of or we'll say ingress and egress of information sharing. Certifications. Okay, I kind of read ahead a little bit. I've got some opinions on this. Security Plus. If you are a SOC analyst or a pen tester or, any other pure play security role, and you have Security Plus on listed on your resume, I don't, I don't care about that at all. And I'm not saying that that's not a good step to get to where you need to be, but Security Plus, I don't care about that at all. However, coming from a software engineer, the fact that they have a Security Plus certification, that's actually a boon. That's really, really good because, again, like Sean said, this is someone who their last job was a software engineer. To see that they have branched out and they've gotten something like a Security Plus, which quite often is overlooked, people go straight to a CISSP, which former CISSP owner or
Hmm.
whatever I am.
Oh,
Um,
I have mine is right over here. I know you can't
I
see
see,
it because of
I
the
see the
blurred camera,
ISC
but
squared.
it's right
Yeah.
there on my wall. It's right there on my wall.
I do not have mine. I think mine's in my closet somewhere. But back to what I'm saying. That's actually huge. That a software engineer. So if you're branching out of your current role and you're looking to get into security like this person has, boasting that you are in entry level certifications, that's actually huge. And then I'll end on this and get your thoughts. Practical web penetration tester. I don't know. Is that the JISEC?
I'm not sure. I actually don't know
Or
where
what
that
that
one comes
is?
from. I know, like you and I did a whole show a while back on different certification.
Right.
I don't know where this one comes from, but interesting enough. Yeah, I wouldn't mind knowing which certification board this comes from. So yeah, is it
Right.
is it an ISACA thing? Is it an IC
Is
squared
it
or one of the other? Yeah,
GWAPT?
I
Right.
actually
Because that's
GIAC
sorry.
or
Go ahead.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would probably make an update here to say which certification board this one
Yes.
comes from because that's a
Yes.
good point.
And my God, don't ever lie about
Yeah, and
certifications
by the
because
way,
I
because
will.
if you did this and you took it on LinkedIn Learning, that's okay. I guess say it.
But
Say it. But
say
if
it.
you did take it from one of like the well-known security
Yep.
organizations, throw their acronym on here.
Yeah. Okay. Skills. I'm not sure how I feel about all this stuff. Like I get it, but listing out all the stuff that like you're aware of that doesn't really do much for me. Take these skills that you've listed here and tell me what you've done with them. Like that's what I want to see. Like I'll give you, Burp Suite. I've used Burp Suite for web app pen testing, or I've we've been running SAST and DAST in our environment and I'm part of it and I'm helping with the mitigation. Like I want to know how you're using these things because quite honestly, if you just have a bunch of stuff under your skills, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like SIM, Splunk and Datadog. Okay, so you're a software engineer. How much experience do you have with Splunk? You might have a lot. You might have just heard the word or logged into the console with your security buddies once, but I want to hear what you've done with that technology.
Yeah, it's a good point. So the skills section here for those on audio has about 8 or 9 bullets, and each one has like a section: application security, and then a bunch of things, security tools, and a bunch of things, SDLC and practices, and a bunch of things, programming, and then a bunch of languages, frameworks, and a bunch of like JavaScript and similar languages, right? So it has those things, you know, and the named acronyms or the named languages or the named like capabilities next to it. Garrett, I think there's a couple things to this. Like there's one, you need to pass the applicant tracking system automated tool, right? That you're going to submit your resume to, and you know that talent acquisition person who's going to scrub or do a first review of this resume before they decide, are you good enough to get to the hiring manager? Yep. And having some buzzwords there are important. Having some industry terms there are important to get through the ATS, the applicant tracking system, and the talent acquisition person. But as me, the hiring manager, I'm with you, Garrett. I want to know more about outcomes versus all the buzzwords. And I get a little bit worried when I see a resume that dumps out 30 different technology names. Because I'm like, well, which ones are you expert in? And if you're expert in them, why? Right. Which ones are you intermediate or beginner in, and why? And Garrett, I think that kind of aligns with what you just said about Splunk. You want to know, like, how deep are you into Splunk Foo, right? How deep are you into the query language of Splunk? Right. What did you use Splunk for? For all of us who are old school Splunk users, it wasn't a security tool. It was like a log management tool for IT teams and operations teams, and it grew into a very rich SIM. So if you're saying Splunk, I guess to your point, Garrett, knowing a little bit more of the technology and the outcomes of these things.
That's right.
And you possibly you'd have to downsize the skills a little bit by doing this, because I don't want your resume to be 4 pages long, but maybe picking a couple of the skills and maybe saying a little bit more about what you have accomplished with those skills.
Yeah. So a couple final thoughts on skills for me. I actually know where this comes from. This is a developer thing. And again, not being a developer.
I was a developer, and my resume did this. I was like, let me name the 800 things that I have worked on, and like, look at all the different Java frameworks I've worked on, and J2EE, and I just go down the list of all these things that are now defunct Java, because I was a coder 8,000 years ago. But I would do that same thing, Garrett, which is like, for whatever reason, us developers, we love to lay out all the tools and frameworks and languages we work with. Yeah.
But just understand that it's not the same in security. Now, again, like, even if you put myself in a parallel universe where I'm hiring a developer role, I still want to hear, just like you said, what are you an expert in? What have you done with JavaScript? What are some cool Python projects that you've done? Because here's the deal. This whole resume, what we're looking for is, what problems can you solve for my organization? What can you do? What can you actually bring to the table? And you just listing out that, and I'm not trying to go hard on this guy, but like, even though he was a member of one of the greatest rock bands known to man.
No. This is Tefn Styler.
Oh, Tefn Styler.
You read the name. I think you mixed the letters up. No, this
not
is
Steven Tyler.
No. This is Tefn Styler.
but yeah, just kind of double down on that, or rather land the plane. I want to know what you've done with this kind of stuff. I don't want to look at all this. None of this makes any sense to a security hiring person. I want to see what you've done. And then better yet, link them to projects, because a lot of us, like Sean and I, we also code. So like, I can look at your Python projects and understand what you've done. Link me to your GitHub. Let me see what you've done. That would be way more important than listing all this stuff out on a resume.
Yeah, those are good. Garrett, I think that's, you said I don't want to go too hard on this person, but this is what we're here to do, because this is actually super helpful. Yeah. I'm actually glad you're saying this. As I'm looking at this, security tools are mentioned, Burp Suite's mentioned, Wireshark, Nmap, but then the acronym SAST and the acronym DAST is managed. And to two old school AppSec nerds, this is Garrett and I here, we're like, well, SAST is just an acronym. What did you use?
What did you do?
Were you an old school Fortify user? Did you do some Veracode? Did you go Sneak? What the new GitHub stuff, the Microsoft? Yeah. Tell me more. DAST, like, there's a whole slew of DAST tools. And again, I'm not necessarily wanting to know your tools. I want to know your solutions. But I look at this resume and I'm like, well, SAST and DAST actually leaves me more concerned than excited, because
It
those
looks like you
aren't
just slap
those
stuff on your
those
resume.
aren't tools. Those are
No,
just acronyms for an entire category
right.
of 100 different products.
And I'll do you the service of giving you an example of what I would want to see within that context. Like I helped implement the SAST tool Veracode in our, secure software development lifecycle, and it helped us, reduce our vulnerability count from, I don't know,
Yep.
3 to 1 or whatever that looks like in every release.
Great
Like
point.
that,
Yeah,
that's important
that's a
to
good
me.
point. Again, you're telling the story of the
That's
outcome.
right.
And by the way,
That's right.
there's a Splunk story that could be told. And again, now that we're just making up fictional stories, but hey, we're here to help. Splunk is just mentioned on here, and we
Yeah.
want to know. Garrett talked about it, so I'll come back to it. Maybe you never use Splunk in production. Maybe you actually set up a free home version of Splunk. You set it up on a
Mhm.
laptop on home and you ran it to monitor the logs that come in from your cable modem router. Like you decided, like, I'm going to filter all the logs that come into my house through a Splunk server, and I'm going to monitor and maybe create some alerts.
Right.
That's a story. Like utilize Splunk for home network to reduce, to reduce internal attacks,
Yep.
and detected X number of attacks across 1 year or something like that. Like
Yep.
okay. If I were to hear that story, I'm like, I want to talk to this person. Actually, like and by the way, you maybe did some of this at work, where you're like, I used Splunk and uh, I analyzed security events that came in and responded to security events. So I want to know a
Yep.
little bit more about the story versus just the tech name.
Well, and one final thing on the skill is remove anything that's old. Like if you've got old stuff on there, that's going to make you look like you just slapped some stuff on your resume.
So I should take
Now,
Lotus Notes 4, R4, which came out
no,
in 1997.
everyone still thinks that's
Lotus
cool,
Notes. I was a
Sean.
Lotus Notes and Domino administrator and developer. I am a Lotus Notes 4
There you go. Yeah, you
developer
still
and
are.
administrator.
So going through the rest of it, the rest of it's pretty straightforward. Um, they do have kind of the story of what they did on each job, which again, I appreciate. But if you have this smattering of stuff under skills, that's going to distract me. And if I've got, 50 resumes to go through, I'm going to look at this and go, man, whatever.
You got hung up on skills, and thank you, Garrett, for getting hung up on skills. This is why we're here,
Yes.
and that's putting this resume at risk.
Yep.
That's
Yep. I
putting the
mean,
resume at risk.
I'll just kind of give my assessment. The rest of it, the experience looks good. There's a lot of stuff on here. I would probably streamline this to maybe just a couple bullet points if you're going to have this skills section. You also have the choice of just omitting the skills section and then leaving this explanation of what you've done within, like embedded within the relevant experience section.
Awesome.
Other than that, projects, and achievements, you okay, so developed a personal sock. That's actually pretty cool. So that's the kind of stuff that I would
Oh,
want to see up top.
oh yeah, I'd actually like these. Oh yeah, that's a. I. It's funny. I'm scrolling, so people who are looking at this on the video didn't even get to see this part yet.
Yeah.
The projects and achievements. Hold on, I gotta move my window around so we can actually, so I can get to that projects and achievements here. That. Okay, it's funny. We talked about this. I just described this using Splunk. It says projects and achievements developed a personal SOC security operations center lab for continuous learning. Oh, that's a thing. It's a thing you did. I like this.
But even that, what did you use? Because those of us who have
Maybe
built,
you utilized Splunk
maybe
and
you
developed
utilize Splunk.
a SOC lab for continuous learning. That'd actually be very cool. And
Well,
then you could take Splunk off of a skill and just put it right in here. You're
that's
telling a
right.
story and you're telling a little bit of. It doesn't tell you a total outcome, but the idea of continuous learning. That's like you are growing yourself.
And be prepared, by the way, if you get an interview, I'm going to dig into this sock of yours. Like I am a sock nerd. I want to know exactly what you've created, what your processes are, what technologies you're using, what things you've done with the sock. So be prepared to talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I like the projects and achievements. I like the fact that they have professional affiliations. That's actually something that I serve on a board today, actually a couple boards, but I serve on a security board today that I see that as giving back to the community. That tells me that your skills are still sharp, you're interested in mentorship. So having the professional affiliations, I think that's great. But again, I would probably just move a lot of this catchy stuff up towards the top. Um, yeah, everything else looks pretty straightforward. Education. So you've got a Bachelor of Science in MIS. Again, I would want to know maybe what you did in college. Like, that's great that you have a Bachelor of Science, but like, what were some of the things that you were involved in? Did you help create a learning lab? Did what was your, you don't really have a thesis or anything with a bachelor's, but I want to know kind of what was your raison d'etre for being in school? Like, what did you do? Why were you there? Just because you have a Bachelor of Science, that's great, but I want to hear more about it.
My comment on education is, okay, you put your education, you graduated college, you have a bachelor's degree, good. That checks, like, again,
Good.
it checks the talent
Good.
acquisition box. It doesn't necessarily check the hiring manager box, but you have it. If I were to scroll back on your resume, you've been working since the 1990s, the mid to late 1990s. Okay, your education likely took place in the 1990s, so I don't care too much about
That's a great
So
point.
Garrett, I'm kind of like throwing in an objection to your comment. Like, I don't care so much what you did in college. You went to college and then you started working. So you've been out of college for a while now.
That's a
So
good point.
I don't need the college details, but two different hiring managers looking for things of interest. Back to projects and achievements for a second.
Yep.
You mentioned two things under OWASP, and one is an acronym MASVS, and another one is an acronym ASVS. And sadly, for me, who's worked in application security and a few other roles, I actually don't know what those acronyms mean. So I actually maybe would encourage you to spell these out. Garrett, I don't know if they jump out to you meaning something, but they actually don't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I mean, I do know what they are, but this is not a widely known thing. I mean, it's the Application Security Verification
Thank
Standard,
you.
but again, like that's not a widely known. That's not like naming off the OWASP top 10
No, you
or
could very easily have been like, Sean, seriously, you worked in AppSec and didn't know what these were? Because I don't. I'd not seen those
no,
acronyms
no.
before.
This is a bit. I mean, again, like maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I would spell this out. And again, to my point earlier, if you're listing this out on here, you know, it enhanced application security. Well, no shit. Like, what did you actually do?
That's a good point. Enhancing,
with that?
I would like to know, reduced vulnerabilities,
Yes.
X
Yes.
percent, reduced vulnerabilities by 20%, or reduced false positive findings, or reduced, true positive findings by some number, like just something, some result.
Or even like we didn't have anything in play. I lobbied and I got buy-in to get this thing pushed through. Like that is a valuable thing to list on your resume.
Got buy-in by the development team to implement
Yes.
these assessment processes.
Because that bolsters the notion that was referenced above that they're into cross collaboration and diplomacy throughout the organization. That would be a huge, huge green flag for me of like, wow, I definitely want to talk to this person.
Okay. Okay, we went top to bottom. I have one additional comment. I've been chiming in where I thought it made sense, so I'm not going to do a full review. You kept your resume to 2 pages. It did not go to a 3rd page. In our world, do that. Do more of that. Keep it to, if we can figure out how to keep it to 1 page, I can't. I have not been able to figure out how to get mine to 1 page successfully. You've kept yours to 2. I'm happy that you did that. We aren't going to look at a 3rd page. We aren't going to look at a 3rd page, so keeping it at 2, I'm happy that you've done that.
I want to call out something real quick.
Are you going to talk about my resume and how it's 17 pages long?
No, but that's definitely a topic for another time. I just appreciate the fact that when Sean scrubbed this resume, he also put in the LinkedIn link is actually pointing to Tevin Styler. Like you actually changed the LinkedIn.
I modified the LinkedIn. Now you can see it on screen to a Tefn, which is not a person that I know of. Actually,
God,
I did not
so
verify
good.
if it's not a person or not.
That's
but yeah,
so good.
I told you. It just proves we are going to make sure we're going to do our best to anonymize you. all the company names. I actually had my friend ChatGPT take the company names and create alternatives for those company names.
Yep.
So yeah,
you've got Jenny's phone number listed under Teffin's phone number. Nice. You've got the leadest of the zip codes referenced here. Wow, Sean, rarely do I give you compliments, but I'm really impressed with your work here.
Thank you. This is instead of watching the latest episode of The Rookie on the couch last night.
Boom.
I mean, that was playing, but this is what I was actually doing.
That's great.
Right,
so my final thoughts on this real quick. Great job. This is a great resume. There's some very pointed feedback that we gave that you could use to improve this resume. If you take that feedback and operationalize it, this is a 5-star resume for me.
There we go. So for someone who's coming from software engineering, getting into the software security space, this is a great review. Garrett, thanks for your feedback on it. Thanks for the person, Teffin, who sent us your resume, and other folks, feel free to send us your resume. We will do a very similar review. We try to hold no bars. No bars hold. No bars hold. No. Now I literally forget how to say that phrase because I said it wrong.
Me think
no bars hold. Anyways, we will do everything we can to shred your resume on the air with love.
We will not hold back.
We will not. Okay, hold on, let me get back to our agenda here. Last piece. We'll be right back.
Hey, viewers and listeners, you asked, we delivered. Introducing the official Cybersecurity Growth merch store, packed with awesome gear inspired by you. From our sleek CSG logo, polos, to our fan favorite CISO career is soon over tie-dye tees, there's something for everyone. Grab yours today and show your cybersecurity pride with a touch of humor. Visit cybersecuritygrowth.com and click on store, because cybersecurity can be cool and even a little funny.
All right. We just ran our first advertisement for the merch store, and I happen to have, Garrett, if you see right in front of me here, something that just came in the mail. And it actually has the Cybersecurity Growth logo on this bag. I have not opened this bag yet, so we are going to do a merch reveal before we close out the show today.
It feels so real.
Yeah,
I feel so professional.
Yeah, like there's the logo right there. There's my mailing address redacted. Look at me go. I redacted my mailing address, so I'm not sharing it to the world.
$10 and I'll give you Sean's mailing address. Yeah, just DM me.
Again, it helps fund the show.
That's right.
We have something that's coming out here.
Look at that.
Oh, look at this. Oh, I can't show this on camera, but the receipt does actually have the company logo on it. Which
Love it.
There's a piece of it there, just a little bit on the screen there. It actually has the company logo on it. And, oh, wow, look at this. They even sent me a nice thank you message. Thank you for supporting cybersecurity. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we have a nice little lovely message for anyone who purchases our merch that you will get in the bag. And I'll save it for when you get your own merch. First reveal. I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. That is a beautiful blue.
Oh, wow. This is the official Cybersecurity Growth embroidered polo.
Wow.
In I guess a royal blue, I think it is.
Yeah. And that's one of the Adidas shirts, right?
It's the same Adidas shirt. We showed one a couple weeks back.
That's nice.
And
so, point being, we're not putting garbage out there. Like, we're selling good stuff.
Immediately, this is my favorite. Like this embroidery looks so good. It's not a patch. It's not ink. It's actual embroidery on here.
I love that. You
will be seeing these at cybersecurity conferences in the near future. I mean, I will be wearing it, but maybe someone else might as well.
I will also be buying one as soon as I can get our discount code to where I can buy it at cost.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. All right.
That's awesome.
Next show, future shows. I don't want to commit to what our next show is, but things we talked about before. We want to do a show on building a vulnerability management program. That'll be fun. We want to do a show on business continuity and disaster recovery prep, and a show on insider risk management. So we just have these things written down for future shows. We have a couple others we're thinking about as well.
Awesome.
If you enjoyed this resume workshop and if you want to participate in a future resume workshop, just send us your resume. Resumes can be sent to our support email address, support@cybersecuritygrowth.com. And again, we will schedule an episode where we'll do a resume workshop with your anonymized resume.
Yep.
Garrett, shall we wrap this thing up?
Let's wrap this thing up. It's a great show.
Right. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for listening. We had some folks join us from LinkedIn Live, some folks from Twitch, and then obviously we've got the show in many other places after the fact when we produce it. If your company would like to become a sponsor of the Cybersecurity Growth Show, reach out to us at sales@cybersecuritygrowth.com. I am Sean Valley, the creator of this show and the music here on Cybersecurity Growth. You can visit us at cybersecuritygrowth.com and get all of our shows at cybersecuritygrowth.com/webcasts. You can find us at every social location under @cybersecuritygrowth. We are most active on LinkedIn and, believe it or not, TikTok. We're
blowing up on TikTok.
We are blowing up on TikTok. We had 150 TikTok followers a month and a half ago. We're now at like 500.5 followers. and our posts are getting lovely comments as well as hate comments. So that's how you know you've arrived.
That's how you know. That's how you know you're having an impact, is when you're pissing people off.
Yeah, we posted a video, and Garrett, you commented, somebody said word salad, literally making fun of the words coming out of our mouth. And
great.
Keep them coming.
Great. Keep it coming.
If you like the show, please tell your friends. If you hate it, please tell all your adversaries over on TikTok.
And ask them to leave a comment, please.
Yes, ask them to leave a comment as well. Like and subscribe. Leave 5 stars. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube. Something like "Great show." I learned something new about how to update my resume. Garrett, you don't do much of the social media, so where can people catch you?
You can probably find me in your boardroom, desperately trying to convince your board members to fund your cybersecurity projects.
That's
putting dollars to breaches and saying this could be you next.
And this is why most boardrooms do a badge and pin to get into the boardroom.
I'm actually not allowed in the board meeting
because he's got.
That's right.
He actually figures out how he's got to overcome the badge and pin to get into the boardroom. He's outside scaling the outside of the building to come in through the window.
I liken myself kind of like Charlie from It's Always Sunny. just kind of erratic, like, we got to come in here and look at the results of the data.
Charlie, so good. All right. We are live every other week sometimes. Fridays usually 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, and 3:30 p.m. GMT. And we're in YouTube and your pod feeds and TikTok a few days later. Garrett, fun show as always.
Yes.
I learned some things. We talked about some things. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It was a great show.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.